My name is Chelecy, and this is my presentation on types of curriculum and instructional development. What are some problems in the curriculum development? What are some problems in the curriculum development? So in this study, it's talking about the problem. It's talking about comparing and testing implementation schools have placed upon the students and the standards they need to master. So the keywords you'll hear throughout this entire presentation is curriculum and instruction, curriculum and instruction. But keep in mind, what is the difference between curriculum and instruction? Curriculum is something that you teach by. Instruction is how do you teach it, based on my study and observation. So the studying the problem is participants will consist in a study of three types of curriculums and instructional developments. So the research problem is what designates the decisions in selecting curriculum and instruction development for educators to implement. In other words, districts to implement. That's the research problem, and it's by investigating the differences and effectiveness regarding how to implement it. The three types of curriculum. Like, what's the difference in implementing them? What makes each one so special and stand out the most? And the purpose of it, the study, is to understand the different types of it. And so there's three types you will hear about: the subject center, the learner center, and the problem center. So the significance of the study is the study will be valuable to school leaders and teachers to understand and implement the best curriculum for the content standards. Everybody wants the best curriculum that will put in good practice for their content standards. And the limitations is the three curriculums and the types of instructional development. And in the literature review, it'll be focusing on mainly the three types: the subject, the learner, and the problem center. And in the midst of it, you will find out the hypothesis that leads all the way to the research question: what designates the decision in selecting the type of curriculum and instruction for educators to implement into the classroom? And most, and as you can read throughout this timeline, you see that both research hypotheses, is about what students are taught and assessed with, and have a higher grade point average with, and which one is more effective than the other: the problem center curriculum than the other problem center curriculum, or the learning center problem with the problem center curriculum. The null hypothesis will be there will be no difference in the grade point average. Does it make it effective? Does it make a difference? So that's what the research question all leads to. And in this, the instrumentation that we will use is the curriculum-based measurement for basic reading. So this is what we use. I mean, what I use when I say we, I mean I. When what I used for the performance level based on this example that I've been given on what works best on the 90 percentile, 100 percentile to the 90th to the lower than 90 percentile. And so the methodology of this is clear. I just stated the instrumentation is the curriculum-based measurement. The data collection will be collected through survey, administered, and testing methods to find out how students are progressing in basic areas. And we will all be focusing on the problem center, with the three types of curriculum, which is learner, problem, and student center. And this is the data analysis that we'll be focusing on. The objective of any curriculum that is implemented is different. No, none of it's the same. So it all deals with the content students learn and the selecting traditional versus materials and the curriculum materials, and emphasizing the teaching and the learning. That's what it's all mainly focusing on. The curriculum is teaching and the learning, the process of teaching and learning. And educational programs emphasizes skills because every curriculum is different. It doesn't, I mean, they may have the same objectives, but they don't have the same skill sets. So, like my district, we use Reading Street for reading. In some counties, they may use iReady or they may use Reading Wonders. Those are just some names of different reading curriculums that are implemented in some other counties. Some are using different other curriculum. No county uses the same curriculum. And so you see on the side, we'll also be talking about those 3 types of curriculum design. And this is my result from my result summary from tier grade 2, pre-test and post-test. I couldn't show the numbers too much on the screen, but this is the speed, the accuracy, and the prosody, and based on the independent level and instructional level, frustration level, you can compare the difference. So that's what we have so far in the result summary. And this is the instrumentation that we use that can be helpful to parents because it provides current week-by-week information on the progress their child is making. So you will see the trend line and the goal line. And the trend line goal line will give you an idea of where they need to be and where they are. It helps on where they have to be at. And most teachers, they do progress monitoring, especially in lower grades, such as myself. We collect and graph each student's progress monitoring data in 1 to 5 minutes per week. Sometimes if it's RTI, which is response to intervention, you will have to do it maybe twice a week just to have complete data, enough observation, enough data to go by. The graph provides an easy to use visual representation of how well the student is progressing, whether the goal line is keep going up, how is the trend line, is it matching what they need to meet, is it higher than the goal line or is it lower than the goal line? So the data will provide you with reliable feedback on your student progress, and based on my experience with this progress monitoring, it helps explain to it helps the teacher to see what is more effective, which curriculum is more effective. Is it what teaching method was more effective? Is what I'm trying to say. What teaching method was more effective? What's the difference in this teaching this week that made the progress monitoring go up? What's the difference in this teaching that made the progress monitoring go down? What was more effective? Was it hands-on? Was it more independent? Was it more one-on-one peer help? What was the difference? So the progress monitor does provide reliable feedback on students' progress, whether it's for teachers or for the parents, and it shows the effectiveness of the teacher instruction. And not only show you performance level, but they show you whether the students are monitoring in this fashion up to be progress throughout the year. And the action plan is just that, the progress monitoring. The 2 methods in determine whether student's progress is adequate is the 4-point rule or the tread line rule. I'm more familiar with the tread line rule. And you would collect the graph for each student's progress monitoring data in 1 to 5 per week. It's easy to visual. The internal validity is the curriculum, the standards, the implementation that is throughout the whole entire teaching. The external will be based on the assessment, standardized tests, the skill set. The data collection that we got from the Learning Center designs is the problem-based curriculum, integrated curriculum, process-based, subject center. You get the broad, you get the theme, conceptual, cluster-based. You get the problem center curriculum, which is more real-life situation increases relevance to the curriculum based on real life. It helps the students learn more relatable. And this is the difference between the process and the product model of curriculum development. The product model is more of structured, more planned, more implemented, more assessing, more organization, versus the process model is more student choice, more social life friendly, learning centered, basically. In the conclusion of this curriculum development based on that question, what designates the type of curriculum that people choose is the curriculum model. Is the it all works with the analysis, the design, development, implementation, evaluation, and curriculum instruction consists of critical thinking and progress. So it all leads hand in hand. And this is my presentation.